mortals have awakened the gods of old. We rise from our slumber to reveal our true power. Focus fire. Now to strike. To strike.
Let's fucking go. What the hell? Shit. Back at it again. Only this time, it's gonna be fucking brief overview. This stream is gonna be rather quick. Give me just 1 second to make sure everything's fucking in order here. Shit was all fucked up last time I tried to go live. I don't know what the hell the deal was, but everything seems to be in order. Everything seems to be in order. Give me just a second to pull some stuff up. Alright. Drop some stuff down. Pull some other stuff up. Do the fucking thing, buddy. Let's fucking go. Okay. Let's jump right into it here. We're gonna make this one quick as fuck, buddy. I'm gonna rush through this so that we can get back on track and back on schedule. Supposed to be doing Japanese war history for November, not Ottomans. But we're a little bit behind schedule, and that's okay. We're gonna take care of this one. Ottoman Hungarian wars. were a series of battles between the Ottoman Empire and medieval Kingdom of Hungary. Following the Byzantine Civil War, the Ottoman capture of Gallipoli, and the decisive Battle of Kosovo, the Ottoman Empire was poised to conquer the entirety of the Balkans. It also sought and expressed desire to expand further north into Central Europe, beginning with the Hungarian lands. In the centuries after the death of Osman I, in 1326, Ottoman rule began to extend over the eastern Mediterranean and Balkans, slowly at first, and later in earnest. Gallipoli was captured in 1354, severing the Byzantine Empire from its continental territories. The important city of Thessaloniki, with a greater population than London at the time, was captured from the Venetians in 1387, and the Turkish victory at the Battle of Kosovo in 1389 effectively marked the end of Serbian power in the region, paving the way for Ottoman expansion into the rest of Europe. Yeah, they were on the move, buddy. They were on the move. And it was brutal. It was a brutal move. It was a brutal move. In 1344, hey, smoking spaceman, welcome in. How you doing? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. In 1344, Louis I of Hungary, who would rule from 1342 to 1382 and earned the epithet the Great, invaded Wallachia and Moldavia and established a system of vassalage. Louis and his 80,000-strong army repelled the Serbian Dusan's armies in the Duchess of Makva and Principality of Travunia in 1349. When Emperor Dusan broke into Bosnian territory, he was defeated by Bosnian Stefan II. With the assistance of Louis's troops, and when Dusan made a second attempt, he defeated Louis in 1354, capturing Makva and Belgrade. The two monarchs signed a peace agreement in 1355. His later campaigns in the Balkans were aimed not so much at conquest and subjugation as at drawing the Serbs, Bosnians, Wallachians, and Bulgarians into the fold of the Roman Catholic faith, and at forming a united front against the Turks. It was relatively easy to subdue the Balkan Orthodox countries by arms, but to convert them was a different matter. Despite Louis's efforts, the people of the Balkans remained faithful to the Eastern Orthodox Church, and their attitude towards Hungary remained ambiguous. Louis annexed Moldavia in 1352 and established a vassal principality there before conquering Vidin in 1365. The rulers of Serbia, Wallachia, Moldavia, and Bulgaria became his vassals. They regarded powerful Hungary as a potential menace to their national identity. For this reason, Hungary could never regard the Serbs and Wallachians as reliable allies in subsequent wars against the Turks. In the spring of 1365, Louis headed a campaign against the Bulgarian Tsardom of Vidin and its ruler, Ivan Stratsimir. He seized the city of Vidin on the 2nd of May 1365, and the region was under Hungarian rule until 1369. In 1366, Byzantine Emperor John V. Oh shit. Yeah, this is Stratimir's fucking strategies. Stratsimir's strategies. Almost makes you wonder if that's where he got his name. I'm just kidding, but still kind of ironic, though, to have the name Stratsimir and be a ruler. Anyways, John V. Where the fuck was I at? In 1366, Byzantine Emperor John V visited Hungary to beg for help against the Ottoman Turks, who were increasing conflict with the Balkan vassal states. Yeah, we're moving through this shit. Holy crap, this is gonna be a really short stream. And then we'll hop into some gaming. I just wanted to get the Ottoman Hungarian wars out of the way so we can move into some Japanese war history, cover some samurais and some ninjas, some deception, maybe a little bit of the Yakuza. You know, get into some of the crazy shit, because the Yakuza's had a very, very strong influence over Japan. They don't really anymore, but for a long time they fucking did, and it's very relevant, so I'll probably end up covering that. Are the portraits accurate? Stock images or AI? Most of them are pretty accurate. I mean, I get them off of either Britannica, Smithsonian, History Hit Network. Sometimes I pull images off of Wikipedia if it's convenient and they match other sources. And then, I don't know. Like, if I can't find a picture for something, then sometimes in rare cases, like with the triumvirate I did for the Roman Civil Wars, I did use a couple of AI pictures. I'm not gonna lie. But that's only to, like, kind of give a visual representation of what was happening, and I will point out when it's not accurate, right? When the images aren't accurate, I will point it out. Yo, King Blackout, welcome in. Appreciate you too. Thanks for the like, buddy. Fuck yeah, you're a legend. The Battle of Nicopolis, 25th of September, 1396. See, like, this actually looks AI generated, but on multiple sites, it's actually not. From what I can tell, this is actually a historical drawing, even though this looks extremely AI generated. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I actually had to look into this photo. It's funny that you bring that up, Smokey Space Man, because this is the very next picture. Looks fucking hella AI generated. The Battle of Nicopolis is thought to be the first military encounter between Hungary and the Ottoman Empire, where a broad coalition force of Christian monarchs and European military commanders, including the Knights Hospitaller. Yeah, what a bunch of badasses these guys were. Holy shit. I mean, let's be fucking real. The 1300s was like, 1300s, 1400s was a fucking time to be alive and be like a soldier. Because if you were a Knights Hospitaller or a fucking Knights Templar, you were a fucking legend. A legend. But including the Knights Hospitaller was comprehensively annihilated by a numerically inferior Turkish army under the capable command of the 4th Sultan Bayezid the Thunderbolt. Yeah, Turks were just better strategists, but I mean, if you think about it, it's because that whole section of the world was just constantly at war since the inception of that section of the world. They did have an entire order of assassins that kind of fought the Mongols for a minute, as well as pretty much every political leader in that region. For a good hot minute, they fucking dictated who was where and what was what. So, you know, just throwing that out there. Middle East. The Turks. They were some pretty strong strategists back in the Middle Ages. Despite these successes, the Ottomans were dealt a major setback when at Ankara in 1402, Timur the Great of the Timurid Empire defeated and captured the Ottoman Sultan Bayezid the Thunderbolt, so named for the speed of his crushing victories against Christian opponents, closely akin to that of a strategy like the Blitzkrieg, most notably at Nicopolis. After a decade of internecine battles, Mehmed I emerged victorious and re-established the Ottoman Empire, and Byzantine Empire accepted its vassalship and agreed to pay tribute. Fucking A. By the 1380s, Ottomans acquainted firearms, as they faced enemies already in possession of firearms like the Byzantines, Phoenicians, and Hungarians. The earliest types of Turkish hand cannons are called the sakalos, which word came from the Hungarian hand cannon sakalas puska in the 15th century. Interesting. Murad II, the successor to Mehmed I, proved to be a worthy successor to his father, who had completed the restoration of their realm following the end of the Ottoman interregnum. Come on, interregnum. Learn how to read, Damien. And proceeded to conquer new territories both in the Balkans and Anatolia, and adding them to the resurgent Ottoman Empire. In 1422, no longer professing suzerainty to the Byzantines, he laid siege to Constantinople, which narrowly avoided becoming an Ottoman conquest. However, he had managed to capture lands surrounding Constantinople. With Byzantium no longer a threat, Murad II began his war against his Christian opponents, attacking Macedonia and capturing Thessalonica from the Venetians in 1430. Between 1435 and 1436, the Ottomans made a show of strength in Albania, but the country survived due to intervention from the Kingdom of Hungary, whose borders now neared those of the Ottoman Empire. Yup. They were encroaching on each other. Wars were bound to happen. But like I brought up last time, at the end of the last Battle Tactics and War Strategy stream, it's just a series of conflicts. It's not like they ever went to really like full-scale war here, full-scale war there. It's like a couple of crusades that they were involved in, as well as many other Christian states, and then a series of battles here and there. It's like two really strong people, like two super buff dudes, having like a slap fight. But not like the fucking ultimate slap competition. That shit's fucking nuts. Let's be real, that shit is fucking nuts. Those fucking guys are crazy. I mean, and chicks, like, fuck that shit. Slap contests until knockout, that's fucking nuts, buddy. I don't know if anybody's ever watched that shit, but if you haven't, I suggest you check it out, because fucking hey, that shit's crazy. Especially the slow-mos, man. Holy shit. It's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like, god damn, dude, that is some... You take a hit to the ear the wrong way, and you're deaf. Like, you're deaf. You take a hit to the jaw the wrong way, your jaw's just broken. Fuck, man. Ugh. But at any rate, we're moving on. Moving on. Man, you know, there's three things that every man should have. And that is a steed, a sword, and a suit of armor. If you don't have your three S's, what the fuck are you doing? You need your steed, you need your suit, and you need your sword. Three things every man should have. In the 1440s and 1450s, the Hungarian military leader John Hunyadi became the key architect of campaigns against the Ottoman Empire. In 1441, he scored the pitched battle victory at Semendria over Ishak Bey. The following year, he annihilated an Ottoman force invading Transylvania at Sibiu. Yep, we went over that when we did Vlad the Impaler. If you haven't watched that one, it's fucking awesome. Especially the second half of the stream. Like, the first half of the stream, I'll admit, it's a little dry, but the second half of the stream gets kind of gory, and it's actually a little funny. In 1442, John Hunyadi won 4 victories against the Ottomans, 2 of which were decisive. In March 1442, Hunyadi defeated Mazid Bey and the raiding Ottoman army at the Battle of Zeben and the south part of Kingdom of Hungary in Transylvania. In September 1442, Hunyadi defeated a large Ottoman army of Beylerbeyi Sahabedin, the first provincial governor of Rumelia. This was the first time that a European army defeated such a large Ottoman force, composed not only of raiders, but of the provincial cavalry led by their own Sanjak Beys, or governors, and accompanied by the formidable Janissaries. Following this victory, Wallachia again accepted suzerainty of the Kingdom of Hungary. With the help of knights from Western Europe, Hunyadi succeeded in capturing Nis on November 3rd, 1443, defeating another Turkish army as they crossed the Balkan Mountains, and then taking another victory on Christmas Day. Because supplies for the Crusader army were low, Hunyadi concluded a 10-year peace treaty with Murad II, presumably on Hunyadi's terms, for it was the triumphant Hungarian that entered Buda in February 1444. 10 years was the maximum time permitted by Islamic law for a treaty with an infidel, quote-unquote. The peace was short-lived, as Cardinal Julian Cesarini incited the Hungarians to break the treaty and attack the Turks once more. However, much of the Crusader army's strength had been reduced due to the loss by defection of Serbia, Albania, and the Byzantine Empire. The Crusader army attacked across the Danube. Murad, upon hearing of the Christian breach of the treaty, is said to have mounted the broken treaty on his standard and said the words, "Christ, if you are God as your followers claim, punish them for their perfidy." The two armies met on November 10th, 1444, near Varna in eastern Bulgaria. Accounts vary as to how many troops were present, but the Crusaders may have been 30,000 strong, whilst the Ottoman forces were 2 to 3 times larger. Nonetheless, Hunyadi's successful defense wagons held the line until King Ladislas led a charge to his death against the Turkish lines. His head was mounted on a spear where all the defeated Crusaders could see it. Few Crusaders survived the battle, although Hunyadi did escape with his life. Yeah, it's pretty wild to appeal to your opponent's god, to have them be, I guess, thwarted. It's kinda, I don't know, it's a fucking interesting tactic. It's an interesting tactic. The Hungarians recovered their strength after Varna, and Hunyadi was able to lead another expedition down the Danube. Turkish counterattacks saw this crusade driven back. After Murad dealt with the Greeks at Peloponnese and others who had fought him at Varna, he turned his attention to Albania, whose leader, once an Ottoman hostage, was now a popular resistance leader. Hunyadi could not refuse an offer to fight the Turks in 1448. An army of some 24,000 Hungarians marched south into Serbia. At the Second Battle of Kosovo, Murad scored another victory against the Hungarians. This time, Hunyadi had had enough and was unable to campaign against the Ottoman Sultan. Murad II passed on his powers to his successor Mehmed II. Thanks to such victories, the Ottoman forces were able to capture Constantinople in 1453, with only the Italians offering minimal support to the Byzantines. Dang. You were thinking the same thing? Yeah, dude, what an interesting tactic. What the fuck? At the same time, I will point out, for all of those of you who watch whatever podcast, when Brian brings up who's the fucking, the victim of war, the primary victim of war, I'm sure I have enough episodes now that I've gone over numbers like 110,000, 300,000, 600,000. In 1448, 24,000 men. Like, these were not women going into battle. These were fucking men. All of them. All these men died for their causes. That's why you have a lower rate of men who have reproduced over time throughout human history. It's because most of them have fucking died. Most of them have died. Meanwhile, the Ottoman issue had again become acute, and after the fall of Constantinople in 1453, Sultan Mehmed II was rallying his resources to subjugate Hungary. His immediate objective was, that's quite the name, but we're going to go ahead and call it Belgrade because that's what it is today. I'm going to try and say it. Nandorfehever. Hungarian audience, tell me if I fucking butchered the shit out of that. I probably did. Belgrade was the major castle fortress and a gatekeeper of South Hungary. The fall of this stronghold would have opened a clear way to the heart of Central Europe. Hunyadi arrived at the siege of Belgrade at the end of 1455 after settling differences with his domestic enemies. At his own expense, he restocked supplies and arms of the fortress, leaving a strong garrison under the command of his brother-in-law, Mile Zilagi, and his own eldest son, Hunyadi Laszlo. He proceeded to form a relief army and assembled a fleet of 200 ships. His main ally was the Franciscan friar, Giovanni di Capistrano, whose fiery oratory drew a large crusade made up mostly of peasants. Yeah, Giovanni went around and pissed off a bunch of peasants. He was like, if you don't come and fight, them Turks are gonna come take your farmland. They're gonna take your women, and they're gonna take your children. And they're probably gonna kill you. So a bunch of peasants got pissed off, and they were like, no, they're not, grabbed their pitchforks, and like an angry mob, went to fucking town. Although relatively ill-armed, most were armed with farm equipment, such as scythes and pitchforks. Yeah, motherfuckers out here with scythes. They flocked to Hunyadi and his small corps of seasoned mercenaries and cavalry. Bunch of badasses, man. Like, W farmers, bro. On the 14th of July, 1456, the flotilla assembled by Hunyadi destroyed the Ottoman fleet. On July 21st, Siliagi's forces in the fortress repulsed a fierce assault by the Rumelian army, and Hunyadi pursued the retreating forces into their camp. Taking advantage of the Turkish army's confused flight from the city, after a fierce but brief fighting, the camp was captured, and Mehmet raised the siege and returned to Constantinople. With his flight began a 70-year period of relative peace on Hungarian southeastern border. However, very unfortunately, we all know what happens next. Most famous time in pretty much all of human history. Plague broke out. Yes, plague broke out. Man, I've been over the plague like 5 times. It happened everywhere. Get ready for it. It's not the last time I'm gonna cover the fucking bubonic plague, man. Plague broke out in Hunyadi's camps 3 weeks after lifting the siege, and he died on August 11th. He was buried inside Roman Catholic Cathedral of Alba Iulia, next to his younger brother John Sultan Mehmet II. Next to his younger brother John. Sultan Mehmet II paid him tribute. Although he was my enemy, I feel grief over his death, because the world has never seen such a man. Man, This is what I love reading about history. Like, I feel like more people should be, like, stoked on fucking history, because if you really need to learn what virtues to have as a man, it's this kind of, like, not camaraderie, but I guess it would technically fall under chivalry, right? This kind of fucking shit is the way to be, man. Like, I'm gonna re-quote Sultan Mehmet II, right? This man led massive armies against Vlad the Impaler and, like, all kinds of other shit, right? Although he was my enemy, I feel grief over his death, because the world has never seen such a man. What a good sport, dude. All we have nowadays is a bunch of fucking crybabies that are too afraid to lose, and when they do, they lose their fucking minds along with it. Instead of taking it as a lesson, looking back on it and seeing where they could have done better and improved themselves, they just take the L's with, like, the hardest chips on their shoulder, man. Fuck. L's are not meant to be taken that way. The only time you truly ever lose is when you give up. Like, if I could impart one piece of advice or, deeper knowledge on this fucking stream, at least tonight, that would be it, right? Like, theme of the night, I guess. The only time you really ever lose, like completely, is when you give up. Because there's always room for improvement. If you take your L's as a lesson instead of a loss, not only will you have a much easier time improving the necessary places that need improvement, but you'll have a much more enjoyable life. I promise. During the battle, Pope Calixtus III, what a fucking name, had ordered the bells of every European church to be rung every day at noon, as the call for believers to pray for the defenders of Belgrade. However, in many countries, like England and Spanish kingdoms, news of the victory arrived before the order, and the ringing of the church bells at noon thus transformed into a commemoration of the victory. They just changed their minds. They're like, yeah, instead of it just being noon, let's all just fucking celebrate. The Pope never withdrew the order, and many Catholic and older Protestant churches still ring the noon bell to this day. Yes, they do. Hunyadi's son, Matthias Corvinus, was crowned king in Buda in 1458 at the age of 15. In 1471, Matthias renewed the Serbian despotate in South Hungary under Vuk Grgurevich for the protection of the borders against the Ottomans. In 1479, an Ottoman army, on its return home from ravaging Transylvania, was annihilated at Zasvaros. In the Battle of Bredfield. Holy shit, these names. The following year, Matthias recaptured Jajce and drove the Ottomans from northern Serbia and instituted 2 new military banats, Jajce and Srebrenik, from reconquered Bosnian territory. Fuck, these names are they're gonna kill me, these names, I'm telling you. In 1480, an Ottoman fleet seized on Otranto in the Kingdom of Naples, and the earnest solicitation of the Pope Matthias sent the Hungarian general Belez Magyar to recover the fortress, which surrendered on the 10th of May, 1481. Again, in 1488, Matthias took Ancona under his protection for a while, occupying it with Hungarian garrison. And then, we did already go over Mehmed's post-Constantinople troubles escalating with the whole Vlad the Impaler situation. We all know what happened there. We went over that. There was a whole fucking 2.5 hour episode. It was fucking awesome. So we're gonna kind of gloss over that real quick and just hop right into Mehmed's army seems to have spent itself in Wallachia for the campaign against Moldavians was shorter and yielded poorer results. In 1475, Mehmed ordered an invasion of Moldavia. Again, the Ottomans often took possessions of the field, but Moldavian hit-and-run tactics proved effective against the Turks. Guerrilla warfare. Fucking holy shit, man. Hop in real quick, do some damage, dip out. You got to think about it. If, like, your army is small, but you can pop in and out and do massive damage to the greater portion of the army, and by massive damage, I mean damage over time, because that shit accumulates. And then morale starts to drop. Like, guerrilla warfare is extremely effective against the soldiers that are actually fighting against it. Morale starts to drop. You start thinking you're fighting ghosts and shit because they just disappear. It's like, fuck, man. How do I even fight an enemy I can't see? They just pop out of nowhere. 15, 20 of my fucking fellow dudes die and then they disappear. I don't know where the fuck they go, but then they come out from the left and the right, and it's like these little prodding attacks. But it's the little prodding attacks that do the most damage, right? Like, think about it like walking through bladed grass. The first couple of fucking cuts are gonna be inconvenient, and that's gonna suck. But man, if you gotta walk 3 miles through that field, and the wind's blowing, and every step you take is just razors all over your body, yeah, those individual cuts are gonna fucking start to really, really demoralize you over time. Hit and run guerrilla warfare, extremely effective. Poor roads further slowed the Ottomans until Stephen the Great was able to concentrate his forces at Vaslui. An Ottoman offensive was held in check, and then finally driven from the field on the 10th of January, 1475. I'm just going to also throw this out there as far as guerrilla warfare is concerned. It seems to be a consistency throughout history that the smaller armies up against the bigger armies always have to pull some, like, sideways shit, right? Like, you gotta think outside the box, otherwise you're gonna be predictable. And that's the last thing you want to be in a war, is fucking predictable. The Ottomans returned in 1476, this time assisted by their allies from Crimea, the Tartars, and their newly conquered vassal of Wallachia. And maybe it might be, in some cases, a good thing to be predictable. Like, there's no way anybody's going to invade the United States because, the general population of the United States is pretty fucking predictable, and it's fucking, our military is one thing, but you come to our fucking, you try and roll an army up on the beach in Los Angeles, and I guarantee you're going to have to deal with Compton at some point. Good luck. Once they find out you're trying to take away their territory where they sell all their drugs and make all their money, yeah, they're not going to like that too much. I don't think any of the gangs are going to like that too much, let alone the general population. Like a full frontal assault like we did on D-Day, absolutely not even a thing, because everybody fucking in the world knows we have over half the world's guns in this country. What are you invading? You're not. So maybe sometimes it might be a little beneficial to be predictable. The Ottomans returned in 1476, this time assisted by their allies from Crimea, the Tartars, and their newly conquered vassal of Wallachia, Stephen, knew that he did not have the resources to defend his people and evacuated them to the mountains. After a failed attack on the Ottoman vanguard, Stephen seemed on the brink of defeat when King Matthias Corvinus of Hungary offered assistance. Ottomans withdrew when the Hungarians began moving in and fighting. Did not resume until 1484. The early reign of Bayezid II included a small civil war against his brother Jem, who escaped to the west. Their European leaders entertained ideas of installing a pro-Western sultan while sending a crusade to the Balkans. Consequently, Bayezid did not incite any serious wars with his Christian opponents until his brother's death in 1495. In the meantime, Bayezid signed a 10-year peace with Hungary in 1484, although this did not prevent the defeat of the Ottoman army at Villach in 1493. Between 1484 and 1486, Bayezid campaigned annually against Moldavia in an attempt to subdue it and link up with Crimea, his Muslim vassal and ally. Despite two defeats in 1485, 1486, Moldavia was subjugated. As Bayezid's reign drew to a close, his entangled in a civil war began between his sons Ahmed and Selim. Eventually, Selim took the throne in 1512 and for the next 8 years continued minor conquests in the west, although his main achievement was the conquest of Malmuk's Sultanate. It would be Selim's successor, Suleiman, who would continue the war against Hungary. Suleiman the Magnificent resumed the war against Hungary by attacking the city of Belgrade, the same settlement that had defied Mehmed II over half a century earlier. Despite strong resistance, the city fell to Suleiman in 1522. Suleiman took his army to a strategically successful siege of Rhodes, allowing the Knights Hospitaller to evacuate for the fort. When Suleiman launched an invasion of 1526, the Grand Vizier constructed a great bridge ahead of the Sultan, allowing his army to march into Hungary. Despite 8 days of marching and 5 days to cross the Danube River, the Ottomans met no resistance from the Hungarians. The original plan of Hungarian King Louis II had been to send a vanguard to hold the Danube, where the Ottomans were expected to cross. Yet, the nobles of the kingdom refused to follow the king's deputy in battle, claiming that they did so out of zealous allegiance to the king. Consequently, when King Louis took the field, his army of 36,000 men seemed to be doomed to fail against the Ottomans' 80,000. At Mohacs, the plan of Hungary allowed the heavier Christian knights to launch an effective charge. As the Hungarian knights brushed aside the first Akinjis and then the Sefahis, the Ottoman cavalry regrouped and flanked the knights, inflicting a moderate number of casualties. The Sultan then placed his janissaries and cannon into position, chained up as an effective line. The Hungarian cavalry took serious casualties from the skillfully handled Turkish artillery, with the cavalry annihilated. The infantry suffered immense casualties as the weight of the numbers of Ottomans and their skill in battle took their toll. When Suleiman the Magnificent found the body of Louis II, he is said to have been saddened by his untimely death. Yeah, it's like, that last Call of Duty game, right? It's like, man, I haven't played with my homeboy in years. Hope he's doing all right, Kinda, life gets at you for a minute, can't really do the thing. This is the equivalent of that, basically. I mean, it's kind of dark to say that, but it's like the truth. These guys were fucking basically playing a game of Risk against each other. John Zapolya, who had been instructed by Louis II to raid the enemy's supply lines, arrived at the battle too late and fled the scene like a pussy. Suleiman, however, was now ready to annex the kingdom completely into the Ottoman realm, and in that power gap, Zapolya was chosen by Hungarian electorate as their ruler. Meanwhile, at the Diet of Bratislava, Archduke Ferdinand of Austria was declared King of Hungary. The surviving nobles of Hungary now had to choose between pledging allegiance to a native vassal of Suleiman and a Christian foreigner. Zapolya would rule Hungary until his death in 1540. Following his demise, Hungary was split into 3 parts. The 3 parts you see right here on the screen: Ottoman Empire, Royal Hungary, and Transylvania. The northwest, present-day Slovakia, western Transdanubia, and Burgenland, western Croatia, and parts of northeastern present-day Hungary remained under Habsburg rule. Although initially independent, later it became part of the Habsburg monarchy under the informal name Royal Hungary. The Habsburg emperors would from then on be also crowned as kings of Hungary. The eastern part of the kingdom, Partium and Transylvania, became at first an independent principality, but gradually was brought under the Turkish rule as a vassal state of the Ottoman Empire. The remaining central area, most of present-day Hungary, including the capital of Buda, became a province of the Ottoman Empire. The siege of Buda, part of the Little War in Hungary, was one of the most important Ottoman victories over the Habsburg forces in Hungary. In 1552, Suleiman's forces laid siege of Eger, located in the northern part of the Kingdom of Hungary, but the defenders led by Istvan Dobo repelled the attacks and defended the Eger castle. And that, my friend, Fredo Fonzarelli, welcome in. For those of you that don't know, Fredo has his own fucking channel. Fredo Fonzarelli here on YouTube. Check it out. Dude's fucking legend. I was just talking about Call of Duty, and Fredo hops into the chat. Look at that. Look at the fuck that. Perfect timing, Fredo. I mean, kinda. Right? Because I said at the beginning this one was going to be rather short. We were going to just bust through the Ottoman fucking Hungarian wars, do a general overview, so that tomorrow we can get into some samurai and some ninja shit with some Japanese war history. Let's fucking go, buddy. Let's go. We're going back to the fucking, Tokugawa Ieyasu. The Tokugawa Holy Knight guys. Holy Warriors or whatever. Whatever they were called. I forget what the fuck they were called. But yeah. Naomasa is the guy we're going to go over tomorrow. And probably one more other dude. I might pick, I don't know, I'll pick one of the other 2. There's 4 guys. We're going to go over fucking all 4 of them. We did one of them. Honda Tadakatsu. The legend. We did that guy. So now we gotta kind of keep pace. And the only way you can do that is, have the equivalent kind of power level as Honda Tadakatsu. And in order to do that, you kind of have to, go over more than one guy, because that dude equaled an entire army, never took a single fucking blow. Literally, never received an injury in battle. There's all kinds of anecdotes about it. Dude was a fucking legend. Holy shit. But that's part of the reason I want to go over that shit. Because samurais are cool. Ninjas are cool. Everybody fucking knows it. It's why this is the Ninja Horde. If you have liked the stream, you have subscribed to the channel, and you have hit the bell to get all of the notifications, well, then you're a part of the fucking Ninja Horde. And when I get members, then we will have shinobi ranks. And you'll all be given shinobi ranks. So, that being said, Let's get to fucking members, buddy. Let's get to YouTube monetization. Like, share, sub, hit the bell. Let's fucking go, buddy. That being said, this is the end of tonight's Battle Tactics and War Strategy stream. Appreciate everybody who came in with the likes. You guys are fucking legends. Everybody who hung out, you guys are fucking awesome. Super appreciate it. Anybody who watches the video, likes the video afterwards, fucking amazing as well. Hit that sub. Let's fucking go. I'll be back shortly for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We'll see. Of some Final Fantasy VI, because I've been wanting to fucking play that since I started Final Fantasy V. Like, fuck. Anyways, I hope all of you out there have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Enjoy your time. Wherever you're at in the world, doesn't fucking matter what time it is, because your time may be limited. I mean, shit, I just spent the last 3 days in a fucking tornado warning. Literally, not even kidding you, like back-to-back tornado watch, tornado warning, tornado watch, tornado warning for fucking 3 days. So, not that a tornado hit me specifically, but a couple of towns got hit. A couple of people lost their lives. It was very unfortunate. That being said, that is a actual, real possibility for things that can fucking happen. I know this one's not completely obnoxious today, but fuck, it is a real possibility. So, you know, enjoy your time. You never know. Could be 3 a.m. one morning and tornado just rolls through and you didn't get notified by the National Weather Service. Didn't wake up in time and now your time is up. Just like my time with you on this episode. Again, I will be back shortly. I have to walk my dogs, refill my brandy tea combination drink, and then I'll be back. So like 20 minutes. Ish. That being said, I'm out of here for the next 20 minutes. I will see y'all next time. Same time, every fucking time.
Just wish he knew. just wish he knew.